All right, so thank you guys for hopping on. I just wanted to go over some of the closing strategies because I know that um, not for Kim and Gladys because they've been doing this a little longer, but for my newbies, I know that you guys are already having interest and, you guys are having conversation and people are, engaging with your posts and that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that you guys are equipped with what's next. So if someone says, I'm interested, um, what do you do next? Right? So like, what do you do? Like, do I call them? Do I whatever? So we're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to walk you through the process. I know that I did send you guys the video that I recorded for one of my trainings, but I think that I like for us to have it more open, where if you have already been having conversations, at the end of me giving you some tips, I want you guys to tell me, hey Gab, I'm struggling with, or hey Gab, I'm having these type of objections, so that we can sort through them. All right. So my first tip, I'm gonna go through some tips, and then I want you guys to take notes, obviously, but then at the end I'm gonna give you like a quick um, what you would call it, like a sample call, basically. All right. So the first thing is I want you guys to get them on the phone. I know that at the beginning for me that was hard, especially when even I think it was harder with my own personal friends and family, because I was afraid that if they asked me a question and I didn't know the answer to it, that I would appear
No. I'm good.
that I would appear like I didn't know what I was talking about. And so, and oopsie, sorry. I think I blocked Isa by mistake. There we go. So basically, I was afraid. I was afraid that if they asked something and I didn't know how to answer the question, they would think I was inadequate. But at the end of the day, and the reason you guys signed up to be coaches is because you guys know that you don't have to be an expert to be a coach, right? You don't have to be a nutritionist to be a coach. So if you don't know the answer to it, it's okay. People want to join people who are in the trenches. People want to join people who are in, the journey themselves. So if you don't know something, it's okay to say, you know what? It's a really great question. I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you, right? Because I know that I still don't know all the answers. And so I know that my biggest friend when I first started was Google, YouTube, right? Coach Relations. I know that you guys laugh about this, but they really didn't know who the heck I was at the beginning, because I used to call them every day. So it's important that you get on the phone. That's my first tip, because people want to hear your enthusiasm. People want to hear, your passion about this. And how can they hear that through a text? Or how can they hear that through a private message? They can't. They can't see, your excitement. So make sure that you get them on the phone. That's my very first tip for you guys. All right. And forget about not knowing all the answers. Just do it. All right. Hi, Christian's husband. So that's the first one. The second one is, once you get them on the phone, you are going to ask questions. Everyone here received the health assessment questions. I posted it in the chat. If I haven't posted it in your Coach Basics, please let me know. I will be more than happy to post it there so you have access to it, but save it onto your phone. And I suggest that you create a folder in your phone, so that, things that are going to help you during your conversation, you can just quickly pull them up. All right. So health assessment questions are important. We're going to go through them when I give you the sample call. But basically, you're going to be asking these questions in a conversation, manner. You're not going to be like, if you're interviewing them, boom, boom, boom. Why? Because think about when you go to an interview. Maybe many of you have been at your job for quite some time now, which is great. But if you're interviewing, it's nerve-wracking, right? You get anxious, you get uncomfortable. And so you don't want to put your person through that. So make sure that when you're speaking to them, you're having a conversation with them. You're making them feel comfortable. You're breaking barriers. And so you're asking questions because this is about them, about their needs, and it's not about you. So you're asking questions and then you are listening. So that's my second tip. You got to listen. You got to ask, shut it, and listen. All right. That's the second one. Because the last thing you want to do is ask a question, have them start talking, and cut them off. So I know sometimes we get excited because we're so happy about our own results or our own journey that we started it, that we just want to bombard them with a whole bunch of information. Don't do that. The third thing is don't sell. Don't sell. All you're doing is sharing your story. Remember that if you feel icky at any point, if you feel like you're selling, it's probably because you're being salesy. It's probably because you're pushy. It's probably because you're selling. So if you're feeling like that, take a step back, ask another question, and listen. All right? So remember, when you walk through Macy's or a department store and you're walking through, the perfume place, right? Right. And then, can I spray this on you, or can I help you? And you have like 30 of them asking you if they can help you. And all you wanted to do was either pass by there or maybe go check out one specific perfume, but now you smell like 500 of them, right? So don't sell, because this is not a business of selling. This is a business of you sharing your story. I was on the phone before this call, which obviously everyone here should know that if you have a prospect and you want to have me on the call that first time, we can do it together. I was on the phone prior to this with Christian, and she had a prospect, and we were talking to her. And Christian, was listening, but she would also contribute to the conversation. And she's a natural. I told her she was contributing, and she was really just sharing what has been working for her. And it was just natural, and that's really all this business is about, sharing what has worked for you. And it's important that if you can't connect with that person because your story is different, then collect stories. Collect stories, because that's what people connect to, stories. They want to make sure that they are able to, like, if they hear that, maybe someone, so for example, this a Christian's coworker, she mentioned that I don't know if she's still breastfeeding, but she did mention that she breastfed her last child. And so right away I told her, oh, I'm a breastfeeding mom. Because the minute someone, you have something that you share, you have some similarity, they right away trust you. So make sure that, you're listening, you collect stories, so that if your story doesn't, connect with theirs, then you have someone else's. So for example, my sister who works, who's not married, right? If I start telling someone that, is not a stay-at-home mom, doesn't have kids, is not married, that, oh, this worked for me, but they're not going to be able to connect with me on that level. I have to pull a story that's going to, connect with them. My sister, she's a school counselor. She works that crazy schedule. She, and this is what has worked for her. So make sure that, it's relevant to them. And remember, facts tell, stories sell, right? The fourth one is you're going to create an emotional response. Sometimes people, they don't want to share, so you got to ask. So so typically, that health assessment question is wonderful, because it's going to allow them to tell you what it is that they've been working on, fitness related. It's going to tell you what they've been working on based on their nutrition. And we'll cover all of that. But most importantly, once you gather all that information, you are going to ask them, why is this important? So basically, you're going to ask them their why. Why is this important to them? Because this is something that, you're gathering the information to really just meet their need, not ours. Because there's programs that are on sale right now, right? But we can't connect everyone to the program that's on sale because it's beneficial for us. that's not what makes us a good Beachbody coach. What makes us good Beachbody coaches is because we're helping people achieve their goals, their needs. So make sure that, you know, you are connecting to their emotional why. And you're going to ask questions like, you know, why is this important for you? Why, you know, why is it that you want to lose those 30 pounds? And sometimes people will tell you the superficial response. That's not what you're looking for. You're looking for an emotional response. So for example, if someone says, oh, you know, I want to look good in my bathing suit this summer, or I want to be able to wear that, you know, dress that I bought that whatever doesn't fit anymore. No, that's very, very superficial, right? While that might just be the opening to their emotional response, then now it's your responsibility to dig deeper. Oh, I bet you want to look good in that bathing suit. But why is that important to you? Right? Why is that important to you? And then you just continue, you know, asking questions in different ways until they answer you. And you know when it's something deep, you know, something like, you know what? I've been unable to play with my daughter. I've been unable to, I don't know, roll around on the floor with her because every time I get down, it's hard for me to get up, or I'm winded, whatever it is, you know, that's deep. And you know that that's going to make that person want to work out every single day or eat healthy and pass up that cookie. You understand? It has to be something good, because wanting to look good in that bathing suit comes every single year, because that summer comes around every year and they've never done anything about it. But when it's important for them, that's when they make a decision to change. So making sure that you have an emotional connection is important. 5 is be yourself, be personable, be you, you know, be genuine. Don't try to be so, you know what I mean, rigid, and this is not an interview. This is just getting, you know, you getting to know their needs. And so just be you, you know what I mean? So when you get on the phone, ask them how they're doing. At first, it might just be friends and family that you're dealing with. Then, you know, when you start to expand outside, when it's referrals and it's people you don't know that you met, you know, maybe in other groups. Like, for example, I met Tanique in the group, in a group, right? I wasn't like, buy this. No, I wanted to know what was up with her. I wanted to know, why does she need this? I wanted to know how I could help her, right? And she wasn't ready a year ago, but she was ready now. So our responsibility is to find out what they need, but you're being genuine. You just want to help. So make sure that, you know, you're asking them about themselves, about their day, about their family. So be personable, be you, be genuine. The 6th one is, I know that many of you are just starting to drink Shakeology, again, for my newbies, but you need to learn about Shakeology. Get comfortable talking about it. And you don't need to know all the ins and outs about Shakeology. No. All you need to know is what it's done for you, right? So, for example, Christian shared with her coworker today, girl, for me, it saved me time because I don't typically eat breakfast. So what I'm doing is I am actually, shaking it up in the morning is super fast. I'm saving money. I don't have to buy breakfast, right? Or I don't have to buy lunch, whatever it is. So you have to, it has to be relatable to them. So make sure that it's relatable and learn what it has done for you. So for me, I always share that it's given me energy. It's helped me with digestion. We both share actually that it was a little TMI, but it's the real deal, that we are both regular because of it, right? But that's the real deal. How many people are not regular nowadays, right? And so we want to share that because then that's relatable. And then if you, a little bit more, if you can just remember these things, it is clinically proven to help you lose weight It's clinically proven to lower cholesterol levels. And I always give them my husband's story, and you guys can use it as well. His cholesterol level was high, and he was on medication, and he no longer uses medication, and his levels are normal now. So that's important, for those things. Those are the stories you want to collect. And then obviously, that it's clinically proven to help you lose weight. All the ladies in our groups, have lost weight. So make sure that you get comfortable talking about Shakeology. The other thing that people will ask you is, or say, oh, that's processed. First of all, no, it's not. Second of all, they don't know. They didn't do any research. I know I did when I was going to be using it and I was breastfeeding. So I needed to make sure that it was clean. I wasn't going to put something in my body that was, going to affect my son. At the time, he was 8 months. So it has no artificial anything, if you can remember that as well. No artificial sugars, sweeteners, no artificial coloring, no soy lecithin. So there's everything in there is clean. So as long as you remember what it's done for you and you can share that, you're good to go. So get comfortable talking about that. Let's see. The 7th tip is divert the money question to the end of the conversation. You don't know how many times I've gotten, yep, I'm interested. How much is it? Really? And people are just so concerned about the money. Like, how much is it? Because they, in their minds, think they don't have the money to buy Shakeology because their money is going somewhere else. So we spoke, and I'm going to keep referring to you, Christian. The prospect we spoke to today, she said she spends $10 a day for lunch every day. And that didn't include, sometimes she'll buy a bagel, she said. Right? So that's an extra, whatever, $2, $3, right? Depending on, where she's buying it. But $10. So then I said, so that means that you're spending about $50 a week? She said, yeah. And then I said, so that's like, $200 a month. And then she said, it was kind of quiet. And then she said, yeah, right? Because it's hard for us to accept that we're spending all that money because we actually never really pay attention to it. We just use it. You know what I mean? Like for me, I know that I used to budget my lunch money into my week. I used to spend at least, I would try, and literally every week I remember saying like, all right, I'm going to just spend like $10 a week. I mean, $10 a day, but then I would buy breakfast. So $10 wasn't enough to buy a salad because salads nowadays are like $13 in the city, right? So now I was spending like $20 at least. And if my friend said, hey, you want to go to Starbucks? And I really wanted Starbucks, but I just spent $20, I'd be like, nah. But sometimes I'd be like, oh, whatever, I'm going to just go, right? So now I just spent $25. And literally like that, the money goes. And we don't track it, so we don't think we have it. So remember that, that you just divert it to the end. And this is how you're going to divert it. You're going to say, so I don't know how much it's going to cost you just yet because I have to determine what program I'm going to recommend for you based on your needs, based on what you're looking to achieve, right? So I don't know how much it's going to cost you yet because first I need to determine what are your needs and what are you trying to accomplish. So make sure that you divert that to the end. And then say, we'll be sure to touch back on that. And then the 8th tip is create an urgency, guys. You have to create an urgency. How do you create an urgency? You date your challenge group. So for example, you're always going to say, my next group is starting on during that conversation. So for example, it'll be April 25th, right? Because the next Monday is the 18th, too soon. They're not going to get their package on time. So the next time is going to be April 25th. So basically you'll say something like at the end of the conversation, and I'll show you when and where you're going to put this, but it's going to be, hey, my next group starts on the 25th of April. The last day to enroll is Friday the 22nd, because, you know, I don't have control over the shipping. You know, Beachbody does. So in order for us to make sure you get it on time, you have to sign up by the 22nd. So you have to create an urgency. You have to tell them when the due date is, you know what I mean? Like the last day to enroll and all that stuff. So make sure you create an urgency. The ninth thing is, if for whatever reason, in the, you know, at the end of the conversation, they said, I'm interested, let me talk to my husband. You'll hear that a lot. Or I'm interested, but I get paid Friday, right? So I'll definitely get it then. So your responsibility is to follow up. So ask permission to follow up. Say to them, hey, okay, cool, perfect. So you got paid on Friday. Is it okay with you if I follow up with you on Friday so that you can complete your enrollment? And the majority of the times they're going to say yes. I've never gotten a no. You know, so make sure you ask to follow up, right? And then the 10th is make sure you follow up. Put in your calendar so you don't forget, because if they were really ready and they just didn't have the money, you know, and you didn't follow up, but then someone else just happened to invite them, or they happened to see someone else's post and you never followed up, they're going to go with that person. So make sure that you follow up. That's the 10th. And then, you know, obviously be courteous at the end of the conversation. Thank them for their time, right? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to help people, but, you know, everyone's busy these days. So be courteous, thank them, so that they have a nice experience, right? And they remember you in good faith. And then finally, what I say is, let's say they never bought. They said, you know, they just couldn't afford it right now, blah, blah, blah. Actually, the second to last thing is, make sure that you stay connected, you know? And if you, maybe they couldn't afford it, but you know that our team is running a free group, offer that to them. Add value to their life. You know what I mean? Maybe they couldn't afford that, but you can add value in that way. Or, you know, I know that last year I ran a free book club, you know, so just add value, just give something back, and do regular check-ins with them, you know, ask them things like, hey, okay, so you couldn't join, viste, you couldn't do the challenge group this month. That's cool. You know, is it okay with you if I follow up with you when I start my next one, right? And then they'll be like, yeah, sure. And then if they can't join that one, then follow up the following month. You know, I have people that have that just either couldn't afford it, weren't ready mentally, whatever reason, you know what I mean? And if you continue to follow up, if you continue to genuinely care about them, you know, if they were, I don't know, if they went on vacation, hey, you know, I saw that you went to Aruba. I've been wanting to go there. Where did you stay? Doesn't have to be Beachbody related. Just follow up, because guess what? They're going to remember that if they're ready, whenever they become ready, who are they going to think about? You. They're going to come back to you. They're going to want you to help them. All right. And then finally, I always end with this, which maybe I should start with, is pray. Ask God to help you, you know, put the right people in your path that you can help. I know that that's important. Also, if you're feeling nervous about speaking to someone, I know that at the beginning I used to, and I still get, you know, especially when I don't know someone, you know, some people, you just don't know how they're going to react. You know, I ask God to put the right words and that I'm able to help them in whatever way I'm meant to. It might not be with a challenge pack. It might just be that they, you know, needed to hear something from me. So I ask God to help me. And be grateful. Be grateful for the opportunity to speak to someone, to impact someone's life. You know, if they do join you, be thankful for that. Because at the end of the day, you're going to change their lives. You're going to change their lives, not just physically, and, you know, you're going to change their lives financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, which is most important. So before I jump into a sample call, any questions? No? Yeah? Tanique? All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You said that if they didn't have the money, just say like you have like the urgency and you do the deadline, right? That you have your I have my group starting, my challenge starting on the 25th, and I need you to get it in, before the 22nd, right? That's what you said. So let's just say they get paid on the 22nd. Okay, they missed the challenge, but I don't want to miss the opportunity in signing them up either. So can I just sign them up and say, hey, you could still make the next challenge, but at least you could still get in. Can I do that too?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's say let's just say, like you said, so let's say the deadline was the 15th for them to start. Wait, what's the date? Yeah, the 15th to start the 25th. Okay.
Right. You just say they don't get paid until the 22nd.
Right. Let's just say they got paid till the 22nd, and they say, then say, you know what? I do want to help you. I definitely do want to help you. So let's enroll you then, right?
Right.
And then you'll just start a week behind everyone else.
Okay.
Right. But the idea obviously is for you to help them, but you're going to have to explain to them that they're going to be behind everybody else because they couldn't join with everybody else on the 25th. Now you'll just start on April 2nd. I mean, on May 2nd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a really great question. So yeah, we want to help everyone.
Right.
We're going to create that urgency, but if for whatever reason they just couldn't, then say, you know what? I typically don't like to do this because I don't want you to feel like you're alone, right? You'll have everybody, but you'll just be 1 week behind. So let's still enroll you. I'll follow up with you then.
Okay.
All right. So that's the question. Anything else? Any other?
One other question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Has Shakeology, I feel that it has changed my digestive system. I don't know if I'm drinking enough water because I feel a little constipated.
Okay, so let's do this because that can happen at first, and you just started drinking it.
Yeah,
that's good. It has happened to a couple people. So what you're going to do is, number one is definitely monitor your water, right? You have to be drinking half your body weight in ounces. So let's just say, you weigh 150, then that means 75, right? Ounces of water. So make sure you do monitor your water intake. And then what I would suggest for you to do is to lower your scoop to half a scoop for now. Because it might just be that your body's still processing all the nutrients that Shakeology has, and it's trying to adjust to it, and it can be the fiber in it too. So, so lower it to half a scoop, try it out, half a scoop all this week.
right.
Okay? And and then monitor, and then see if you go back to being regular. And then once you start being regular, then you can start, adding the other scoop in. Maybe even like half a scoop in the morning to add it back in, and maybe, the other one for lunch. And then once you see that you're regular, then combine them. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes lots of sense.
Okay. That's a good question, though, because you will come across those people that their system is just trying to, find its way. The other thing that there is one, because I know my mom at first had to drink like an extra, it's called the Shakeology Boost Digestive Health. And that'll definitely make you, like, you just put it, your scoop of Shakeology, one extra scoop of that, and that will definitely help you, be regular. So it might just be that you need a little bit of that. My mom actually, I think, drank that maybe a couple months, and then now she's like, Shakeology is like now in her system, and she doesn't need it anymore. So it might just be that, your system is trying to figure out a balance right now.
Okay.
So try the half a scoop for now.
Okay.
All right, and then definitely monitor your water.
Okay.
All right. So, good. Any other questions? No? All right. So I'm going to go through a sample call, and then we can talk about the objections you guys are getting right now and how to overcome them. So, all right. So basically, be yourself. You're going to get them on the phone. So whether they responded to a call to action that you did, which is a post on Facebook. Typically what I do, so you guys do this too, is that if, you know, they responded, don't just respond back to the people who said I'm interested. Look at your likes. There's a lot of people who like it and they just don't know how to tell you they need help. They're either embarrassed or they just don't know how to reach out to you. So make sure the people who like it, you also send a note to saying, hey girl, you know, I noticed that you, you know, like my picture. Thank you so much for the support. I don't know if this is something that you would be interested in, but I am opening, as you saw, my challenge group. It's a health and nutrition or fitness and nutrition challenge group on such and such date. Would you be interested to hear more about it? So don't just send a private message to the people who said I'm interested. Make sure that you invite those folks that like your pictures. So I've seen a couple of you, especially, you know, when you're putting videos. Tanique, amazing strategy. Putting videos gets so much like and so much engagement that, you know, when someone, you know, comments or likes, like a ton of people see it. So definitely you have a lot of people to reach out to, right? And you can do that. You can write out a list of all the likes and even the people who said, congrats, or you look amazing, you know, you're doing great, or girl, keep it going. Invite them too, right? So you have a ton of people. Just do your list, continue to put them on your list, and invite 5 people a day. Hey, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot for me, you know, because that's what keeps me going. I'm opening my group up on blah, 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 blah. Not sure if this is something you'd be interested in, but if I sent you information, would you be interested to read about it? That's it. Real simple, all right? But obviously, you know, thank them for their support. So make sure that you're doing that. So once you've established that they're interested, then get them on the phone. When you get them on the phone, you know, make sure that you make them feel comfortable, that you're, you know, that you're breaking down their barriers, right? So make sure that you talk about their day. How are they doing? How's the family? How's the kids if they have kids? You know, blah, blah, blah. Make sure that you are listening, that you really care. You know, don't just ask them and you're thinking, when do I get to tell them to buy my challenge pack? That's not what it's about. You know, you're really asking because you care, because in that conversation, they're telling you a lot of things, right? So, and even, it might even just be, because if it's on the phone, like for example, it might just be like all the noise around them. Like for example, our last conversation, she had a lot going on. She's busy. She's a busy mom of a 1 and a 3-year-old. You know, she works full time. She's a full-time mom when she comes home. You know, she has mommy duties, wife duties, home duties. So homegirl is busy and probably tired by the time she puts everybody to bed. So you got to pay attention to everything that's going on, because you will have the solution for them. So make sure that, you know, you make them feel comfortable at first. And again, the second part to that is, once you'll transition into the interview phase, which clearly you're not going to make them feel like you're interviewing them, then this is when you're going to ask them their assessment questions, which all of you have. But it's things like, you know, what interests you about my post, or what interests you about my invitation? All right, that's one thing. Once you've established what it was, then you want to tell them, what is it that you want to accomplish? You know, what are you trying to reach? What goal are you trying to reach? Are you trying to lose weight? And then let them answer. Obviously, through all of this, you're going to be asking, and then you're going to be listening. And then finally, you know, you're going to ask them questions. Make sure that you're asking questions about, okay, you want to lose 30 pounds? Awesome. You know, before you ask them why, you want to ask them, what are they doing? Yeah. What are they doing about it, right? So So a lot of people want to do things, but they're not doing anything about it. You know, they're wishing, they're hoping, but that doesn't do anything. So you want to ask them, what are you doing to reach that goal? Are you going to the gym? And if they are, what do you do at the gym? You know, do you take classes? Do you lift weights? You know, what are you into? Because the last thing you want to do is someone who says, I hate cardio, and you hook them up with T25, which is all cardio based. You're setting them up for failure. Just because T25 was on sale doesn't mean that that's going to be a good fit for your customer, right? So make sure that you're asking those questions. Got to be the right questions. What are you doing at the gym? What do you enjoy? When you were going to the gym, what kind of exercises were you into? Then, talk about nutrition. Tell me what a usual day looks like for you in terms of food. And then let them walk you through what they eat for breakfast, what they eat for lunch, what they eat for dinner. Are they having snacks? You can even go as far as asking them how much water they're drinking. And then typically what I ask is, venga, papi. Oh, ya viene. Asking for daddy. So the other thing that you want to ask is, if they work outside of the home, ask them, and pay close attention to what they're eating for lunch and breakfast, and ask them, do you take your breakfast or do you purchase it? Do you take your lunch or do you purchase? And if they tell you they purchase, how much do you spend on a daily basis? That's important, because guess what? That right there is what you're going to use for when they tell you they have no money. All right? So, and what I love to do is I love to throw that back out to them, right? Oh, you spent $10 a day, so that's $50 a week. Fair enough to say you're spending $200 a month eating lunch, right? And that doesn't include coffee and what have you, right? So, yes, papi. Give me 1 second. Sorry. So make sure that, all those questions are important in terms of what they're eating, what they're into, what are they doing to reach that goal. Then move into that emotional response. Why is this important to you? Why do you want to lose weight? And one thing that has worked for me is, and try it. I know that the first time I heard this, one of the top coaches say this, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to use that. That sounds a little extra right there. But it worked. The first time I tried it, I was like, I'm going to just do it. And I did it. And it really places people in that very moment. You say to them, and this is a way to break a barrier when they don't want to share their why with you. When you hear them just say, oh, I just want to look cute in that bathing suit. Oh, no, because I have this outfit no. So then, make sure, if you still feel like you haven't gotten that emotional response, just make sure to ask this question. Say, venga, papi. Vaya donde la abuela. So basically, sorry guys. So basically just say this. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? What do you see? And I guarantee you, people will open up. But don't leave them in that place, because more likely than not, it's not a good place. And you don't want to leave them there. So what you're going to say afterwards is, what do you want to see? Who do you want to see, right? Who do you want to see looking at you? And then they're going to tell you exactly what they want to accomplish. I want to see a more confident woman. I want to see a more energetic woman. I want to see a stronger woman. I want to see a sexier woman. I want to see a woman that, her husband looks at her in a different way. Like, there are just so many things that someone is holding back behind weight, right? So make sure that you're asking those questions. So that's a good one to break those barriers. Let's see what else I have here. All right, so dig deep. Make sure that, you don't continue on unless you know that this is something to it, that this person is going to be motivated every day. This is not a perfect process. You guys know this. You guys are going through it. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to fall off the wagon. You're going to pick yourself back up, right? But it has to be a reason why you're going to jump back on. There has to be some reason behind it. All right, so what else? So then after you've gathered all their information, how they want to feel, where they want to go, where they want to be, what are they doing, then you have, and you've been listening, you have the solution, because more likely than not, you have heard, I'm busy, I have no time to exercise, right? I'm tired, I have no energy, I have no motivation. I started the gym and I always give up because no one checks up on me, right? I hate working out. I love to eat. So you've heard all of these excuses basically. So now it's your opportunity to say, I can help you. My program can help you. And here's how. So I spent some time explaining the challenge pack, and I obviously don't tell them the challenge pack is what's going to save your life. No, I tell them what's going, and I walk them through each process or each step or component, I should say. So I basically say, you know, while you spoke, I heard you say that, you know, you're busy and that you have no time. And so this program kept coming at me because it's the perfect program for you, because all you got to work, all you got to commit to is 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes. Doesn't matter if you do it in the morning, at night, wake up 30 minutes earlier. And honestly speaking, for me, I know that even if I had an hour to work out, I wouldn't work out an hour. So half hour is perfect, right? So you want to make sure that you're telling them, you know, this has everything to do with them, not you. You said that you were busy, that you had no time. So 30 minutes is all you got, and 30 minutes is what I'm going to give you. The program is, you know, from home. You don't have to go outside. You have 2 little kids or whatever it is, and, you know, you don't have to pay extra daycare or whatever to go to the gym. You don't have to look for parking. You don't have to go outside when it's, you know, freaking cold outside, right? So make sure that you're explaining that part. Also, typically I recommend a 21-day, depending on, you know, if they're struggling with nutrition, and the majority of us do. So if they do, you know, I talk about how it's a short program. It's only 3 weeks. It's 21 days, which is true. It's amazing because they're going to develop a good habit and they're going to break bad ones. So make sure you're talking about that, right? And then I transition into the food portion of it, which is important because the majority of us struggle with nutrition. And this is your opportunity to tell them how simple it is if you have the containers. Tanique, I never sent you your containers, did I? Okay, I got to send you that. That just reminded me. So I'll send it this week. So basically the container system, once you utilize it, Tanique, but I know that the majority of everyone here has utilized them. It's a simple system where you're putting in your food. If it fits, you eat it. So it's easy because they don't have to, you know, waste time counting calories, counting points. And so you walk them through that. It's important for you to eat from everything, all the food groups, so that you get the nutrients you need. I tell them how easy a nutritional plan is. And then I also make sure to mention that it comes with a bag of Shakeology. And this is your opportunity to say what Shakeology has done for you, what Shakeology has done for other people, you know, why you love it, the different flavors. And again, you don't have to be a scientist talking about what it has and what it doesn't. As long as you share your story and what it's doing for you, then you should be set. All right. And then the final piece to all of this is the challenge group, right? The challenge group where they're going to receive you as a coach, where they're going to receive support, motivation, accountability, something that they will not get at the gym. Because I know I was signed up at the gym and no one was calling me up saying, Gab, we keep charging your card, but you're not showing up. No one cares. They're collecting. And here we care. We want them to get results, right? Because that's what we signed up for, to help people. And so when we don't see them, what do? You send them a message. Where you been, girl? You okay? You good? You know, what can I help you with? Is everything okay? That's what we do because we want them to get results, because we want to help them. So that's what they're going to sign up for. So you got to make sure to let them know that that's what they're going to get. And quite honestly, the majority of my ladies, coaches or non-coaches, have told me that that's what's kept them in the challenge group, the support, the accountability. So, and sometimes, you know, you got to try to find ways to make it fun in there, because sometimes it can get, you know, repetitive or whatever. But, you know, that's where we got to start to try to use our creative juices. But that's what you have. And if they say they have no money, right? You've heard them say this and that, complain about money. You also have a business opportunity to present to them. So that challenge pack is like everything: nutrition, fitness, support, and a business opportunity. All right. And then finally, you've wrapped it up. Then it's your opportunity to say, do you have any questions? And they will. They'll have a question. They'll have at least one question, which is the money question, right? The majority of the time, if you have walked that person through that challenge pack, like I typically do, they will have no question but the price question. And then that's your opportunity to say, well, that's a great question. You disconnect yourself from that price because, guys, you're not charging them. It's Beachbody. It's really Beachbody who they have to pay. So make sure you let them know you don't pay me. Let me make that clear. All right. But I will send you the link so that we can make sure that they assign me as your coach. But everything will be processed through Beachbody. You have to get the package through them. They will process payment and they will process shipping. The package, and then repeat everything they're getting again because they might have forgotten. You will get a challenge. In the package, you will get a fitness program, a complete fitness program. You will get a nutrition plan. You will get food containers, again, only if you are, referring or recommending, the 21-day. So you'll get a set of containers for portion control and a 30-day supply of Shakeology, all for $160. Sometimes it's $140. So depending on the price, what I typically do is that I divide it for them into 30 days because they're getting 30 shakes. And I say, it'll cost you, if you divide that by 30, it'll cost you, I don't know, $467 or $533, depending on the price, if it's $160 or $140. And I say, it's actually less than what you're spending on that lunch. You're spending $10 on lunch. You're only going to spend $5 here. So now you put $5 a day back in their pocket. So now you're saving them money, right? So make sure that's when you answer that question that way. And make sure that you're telling them that, that's why it's important to ask the question about where they're spending their money or what they're spending during lunchtime. And then you assume that they're joining you. You assume the sale. My next challenge group starts on such and such date. I'm excited to get you started. All I need from you to get you enrolled is your email address, first and last name, and the flavor Shakeology. Right? So you assume the sale. You assume that they're joining you. And then you can ask them basically, hey, there's two ways. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. Before you assume that sale, you got to give them the two options how to sign up. So it's $160 and you have two ways to sign up. And then you tell them the first one is through two options. The first one is with the coach. I don't like to use coach discount. What you can say is the discount account. And then what I do is that I actually tell them that it's the coach discount because they really do get all the perks without having to coach anyone, right? So you can say a coach discount account, you can say a preferred account, you can just say the discount account. It really is whatever you're comfortable with. So first option is the preferred account, the discount account. With that account, you'll pay $160 and you'll get 25% discount on future purchases, and you'll get referral commission if you refer anyone. The second option is your customer option. You sign up for the same price, $160 or $140, right? Same price. You don't get discounts. You don't get 25% discount, and you do not get the commission if you refer someone. So you decide which option you want me to send you the link for. Clearly, they're going to pick the coach discount. They're going to get a discount, and they're going to get a referral fee, right? For the same price. and they're going to save on their next Shakeology. And then you say, that's when you assume that they're joining you, and you say, all I need is your email, your first and last name, and the flavor Shakeology. We get started on such and such day. I'm really excited to have you. And then let them be the ones who say, wait a minute, I get paid on, you know what I mean? The majority of the times they're going to join you on the spot if they're mentally ready and if they're ready to roll. All right. And if obviously they have the money, they might not, and they might say, girl, I get paid Friday, but I'm so ready. Let's do this. Right. And then obviously you send them the enrollment, and then tell them you'll follow up with them on Friday, and follow up with them to remind them to complete that that enrollment. So you're creating that urgency. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see. All right. So the last thing is, if you, for whatever reason, you know, they had more questions like, or let me just think about it, Gab, or, you know, let me just think about this, or let me discuss it with my husband, right? Or my wife, whatever, if you're talking to a guy, and then I'll follow up with you. So at that point, what you want to do is say, okay, that's perfectly fine. Let me send you 2 videos so that you can maybe show them to your husband so that he can see, you know, what you want to enroll with, or what you're trying to get signed up for. And then send them the 21-day fix video. If you don't have them, let me know, and then I'll put them in the chat for you, and the Shakeology video. If it's the 21-day, if you're referring them to do size, then obviously it has to be the size, right, video. If it's, you know, I don't know, 22-minute hardcore, then it'll have to be that video. And then saying, all right, is it okay for me to follow up with you? So let's say today is Tuesday. Can I follow up with you on Thursday after you've spoken to your husband? And then at that point, you'll follow up with them. If you and then follow up, and then obviously go through the process of, you know, enrolling them. If for whatever reason they didn't, aren't ready, that's fine. If you've done your job to cover A through Z, right? You listened, you provided value to that challenge pack, you found out their needs, you told them you were going to help them out, you found out their why, and they're just not ready, it's okay, guys, because the last thing we want is to enroll someone who's not going to succeed, right? And then you just keep following up, and I promise you that, you know, they will sign up eventually. Maybe this month it wasn't their month, but the next month it could be, or it could be a year later or 2 years later. So, all right, don't feel like it's your fault. As I said, if you follow all the steps, it's not your fault. They're just not ready. All right. But if they didn't, you know, just kind of backtrack and be like, did I cover this? Did I cover that? You know, the more you do it, the more you'll be more comfortable doing it. But that's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions, and maybe any objections that you're currently getting, and we'll take it from there. Yes, those $10 a day do add up, Anna. Any questions? You guys are good?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So what if the person that you were trying to enrolled and she put someone else as your coach, or they assign her someone else for coach? Can you change that?
Yes. So basically, we've had that before where, for example, which is why typically I don't like to talk about, you know, people, if I'm starting a new challenge, they'll know like what I'm doing, but which is why I like to get them on the phone, because I just talked to someone yesterday who hates boot camp training. So can you imagine if, you know, it's $140 now, but because I wanted to make a sale and it's the cheapest challenge pack, I'm like, girl, I got the challenge pack for you, and I signed her up for that. She should have failed. She hates that type of workout. So, but she's had an account before. That's what I was trying to get at. So she's had an account before, right? So if for whatever reason I said, you know, this program is amazing, girl, and it's going to be good for you, blah, blah, blah. And then she gets off and she's like, let me think about it. And then she's like, God, it's late. But, you know, Gabby said it was $225. Let me just go and, you know, just whatever, buy it. But because she had a Beachbody account, she buys it, and then then tomorrow she'll be like, hey, Gab, I actually signed it. I already enrolled. I enrolled, and then I actually don't sit in my back office because I was not her coach to begin with, right? So, but she wants me to be her coach. So there's a couple ways that you can do. She can either call herself and ask to have you be her coach, so they'll make the switch. Or let's say she only bought the program and I want her to upgrade to a challenge pack. I can call with her on the line and say she wants to upgrade to a challenge pack because she only bought the program, but now she wants to, bundle it up with Shakeology. She'll save more. And what they'll do is that they'll just charge her the difference. So they'll give her back what they already charged her. So it's just the difference, and then they'll charge her the new price. And then you being on the phone, you can just give them your coach ID. But if she's calling alone, make sure that you give her your ID. She has, she can switch up to you as a customer at any point. But for you to get credit for it, it needs to, you need to make her transfer everything over to you as soon as possible. All right? So you can. That was a long version. That was a long response to say, yes, you can get her to come under you. I just wanted to give you the different option, but that's a good question. Any other questions? No, you guys good? Cool. Well, thank you guys for jumping on. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, if you know what, I'll go into our group and see if the health assessment is not in there. I'll post it in there for the Coach Basic guys that are going through Coach Basics right now. But if you have any questions or any objections that you're coming up with, put them in the chat or put them in the group and we'll work them out together. But keep posting your stuff. Congrats. And I know actually all of you guys are talking to people, so I'm happy. I'm very excited for you guys, and just, talk from your heart, be genuine, and just help. All right? All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for jumping on. Bye.